Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. May I have your attention, please? Today we are going to have a session on IELTS reading, and we'll have a complete class on academic IELTS reading. During this session, we will cover a variety of questions, and I'll give you some techniques, some tips, and all that, right? I was actually stuck in driving today before coming here, so that's why my face is like this, but after a few minutes it's going to be all right, right? Looking at you, and then I'll get energy from you, so I'll be fine. It depends now, you give me negative energy or positive energy, right? If your mask is going to open wide and it'll go back, that'll give me negative energy. But when you smile, your eyes actually show me the smile. So there, yeah, he's smiling now. That is positive energy, okay? So you should give me all positive energy. Remember one thing, we are going to do IELTS reading, academic IELTS reading, जान निकालती है students की. So you have to be active and alert. एक चीज करनी है, till the end मुंह सीधा रखना है. You know, sometimes you're in trouble, then your face, right? So till the end, there should be smile on your face, and don't just do that, okay, I don't know what to do and all. Even you don't know what to do, your face and smile, it should be there, right? Then you will feel better. And if you go, your emotions go with the flow of the passage, then you will not be able to complete it. So this is very important. When we start with passage 1, students are excited. Passage 2, Passage 3, gone. Okay? So you have to maintain your emotions till the end, and you should have full energy till the end. Now, whenever you start any IELTS reading question type, first of all, you will read the title of the passage, and as you read the title of the passage, you will switch on your imagination. I want you all to hold a pencil in your hand if you have today. Otherwise, next time you can bring a pencil, because when you're solving your paper, it's a very good idea to use pencil. So if you've got the pencil, you can use it now. Otherwise, now you can use pen, but later on, in actual IELTS exam, now in some test centers, they don't allow to use ballpoint. Just pencil. One of my students told me from Saudi Arabia, he went to take his IELTS test, they gave one pencil, eraser, and sharpener, and then they said, do all your tests using pencil. Okay? So, anyways, you can use the pencil and get yourselves used to using pencils as well. Now, let's see. Raising the Mary Rose. Now, most of you don't understand Mary Rose, right? Because you know only one Rose in Titanic, and Mary is another one, you know. So, raising Mary Rose does not mean to raise the two girls. One is Mary and one is Rose. Read the next line. How a 16th century warship was recovered from the seabed. So, Mary Rose is a... Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Mary Rose is a warship. Okay, seabed is samundar ka niche wala hissa, right? So Mary Rose is not seabed. Mary Rose is a warship, and it is actually 16th century warship. So how it was recovered from seabed? Now you can just imagine, if you've seen Titanic, just imagine Titanic, that Budi Mai going down in the water and all that, right? So how they discovered this ship Mary Rose from the seabed, and this ship was a warship of 16th century. Again, I tell you, your imagination, your visualization will help you pay more attention. Okay? After reading title and subtitle, do not do this silly mistake that first I will read the passage, or first I will skim the passage. Some students are quite emotional. They say, if I don't understand the passage, how can I answer the question? So first I read the passage. If you read the passage, then you will only read the passage. You will not be able to answer the questions, and passage is full of information. Even after reading it, when you go back to the questions, you will forget everything, right? So right after that, you will come to the questions. Now the question type 1 to 4 is true, false, not given. Okay. Now, there are few things which you should have at your fingertips. Right? I'll just tell you, you can write them down on your question booklet, or otherwise whatever you want to do. These things should be at your fingertips. And by the way, these things are related to the questions. Like these things depend on the questions. For example, true, false not given. Number one, questions and answers will be in order. And you should know that. Okay. Number two, if true, false not given is the first 4 or 5 questions, usually the answers are in first, second paragraphs. Clear? You should know that. If they are like questions 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 4, so the answers are usually, I'm not using the word always, I'm saying usually they are in first paragraph, right? Now, whenever you read the question in true, false not given, you have to divide the sentence into 3 parts. For example, the question is, there is some doubt about what caused the Mary Rose to sink. Now look here. If there is some doubt what caused Mary Rose to sink, it's true. If there is no doubt, they are sure, they know why Mary Rose sank in the water, then it is false. And if they don't tell us whether there is any doubt or not about the Mary Rose, then the answer is not given. So whenever you convert the sentence into true, false, not given, you will be able to match that very statement and then decide whether the answer is true, false or not given. One thing. The next thing about true, false, not given is you need to find a clue word. Usually in part 1, section 1, IELTS reading, academic reading, questions and answers are going to be in same order. And the tips which I am giving you, these tips are for true, false, not given. Whether you come across true, false, not given in academic IELTS or in general training IELTS, tips and techniques are same. They are not different. Okay. Now, what's the clue word here? Doubt and Mary Rose sink. So let's go back, please. The first paragraph. On 19 July 1544, got it? Yeah. Let's just, and one thing more, never read the passage without moving the pencil. You know what will happen now? For example, you just, your hands like this, all of you do your hands like this. Look at the first paragraph and read it. In your heart, read first paragraph. In your heart, no whispering, because in actual exam, you're not allowed to whisper. Okay, now stop. Now you're going to read the same paragraph and you're going to move the pencil. Come on, just do it. Read the same paragraph and move the pencil along. See that your speed is faster than the previous one. Have you noticed? Why? Because your eyes follow the pencil. And as you move the pencil, so your eyes will follow everything. And if you don't use pencil or anything you're reading like this, then your speed will be slow. So always move the pencil and all that. Okay, now we go on. Let's go on. I'm reading third line. There is no mention of sink. It's all about built, right? So please look for something that tells about sink. Yeah, now everyone please come to King Henry VIII. Found it? First paragraph, King VIII. Okay, now let's see after that. Accounts of what happened to the ship. Now what happened to the ship means how did the ship sink? What happened to the ship vary. Okay, they say vary. While witnesses agree that she means ship, exactly. For ship they use she. She was not hit by the French. Some maintain that she was outdated. So she was not hit by French. I mean, they say vary. How the ship sank, they say it actually vary. Vary means there is some doubt. People have different things. And after that they say, while witnesses agree that she was not hit by the French. So actually the ship was not hit by the French. And then they say some maintain that she was outdated. So some people say she was not hit by French. Some say she was outdated. Now please come back. There is some doubt. Now what is doubt? It was not hit by French. Some people say it was outdated. There is some doubt about what caused the Mary Rose to sink. Answer is very good. Clear? It's true, sir. Okay, not all the time. I don't play every time. Okay, honestly, true answer. Now, why true? Because they said some doubt, and for doubt, they use the word very. Right? Very means there are different, and then they told us two things, two statements. One is it was not hit by French, and second is outdated. Right? Okay, now we go on. Question number 2. And you can do one thing. Wherever I find the answer, write the question number there so that when you go back home, you can practice. The line which you underline, उस line को underline करके वहाँ पे 1 लिख ले. ताकि घर जाके, when you practice, so you should know where that is. Okay, now we've got question number 2. Mary Rose was only ship. And by the way, whenever you read, do not read article. Because in our language, in Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, articles don't have any meaning. Right? So, like if you read the Mary Rose was the only ship, simply read Mary Rose was only ship to sink in the Battle of 19th July 1544. Now look here. Encircle the word only and try to understand me. Right? And you have to be with me. If at this moment you are searching the answer, you are not with me. If you're trying to tell me the answer before I read the question, you are not with me. And if you're not with me, फिर घर जाके कर लीजिएगा, फिर यहाँ आने का फायदा नहीं है. Okay, let's do it all together. The question is, Mary Rose was the only ship to sink in the Battle of 19 July 1544. Now, if only one ship sank in that battle, answer is true. If there were 2-3 ships and Mary Rose was one of them, then the answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether Mary Rose was the only ship or there were the other ships also, right, then the answer is not given. Now please go back, 19 July 1545, same paragraph. All right, I'm reading the last 5 lines. What is undisputed, however, is that the Mary Rose sank into the Solent that day, taking at least 500 men with her. After the battle, attempts were made to recover the ship, but these failed. Now, have they mentioned Mary Rose was the only ship or there were other ships and all that? No. So the answer is well done. And by the way, now, in true, false, not given, you will find the word only frequently. You understand? In true, false, not given, you will see the word only frequently. Whenever they use the word only, this is what you have to check. Okay? Now, let's just go on. Question number 3. Most of one side of the Mary Rose. Underline one side of the Mary Rose. Now, Imagine there is a beautiful ship and one side of the ship. It can be any side, maybe this side or maybe this side and all that, right? So they say most of one side, underline most as well. See that yesterday in listening also they used most of and then they said 35%. So 35% is not most, right? Most of one side of Mary Rose lay undamaged under the sea. Now look here. If most of one side is undamaged, answer is true. If instead of most they say little, right, or they use the opposite one, then the answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether most of one side laid undamaged or not, then the answer will be not given. Now basically we look for the word one side of Mary Rose and undamaged. For undamaged they can use any other word. Let's go on. The next paragraph. Second paragraph on the left side, last line. Because of the way the ship sank, nearly all of the starboard half survived intact. Nearly. Now, if you don't understand starboard half, it's basically one half of the ship. Right? So they say starboard half survived intact. Survived intact means actually it is undamaged. Intact means undamaged. So for undamaged they've used the word intact. What's the question? Most of the one side. Now what is the word for most of the one side? All of the starboard half. All of. Starboard half that survived intact. Okay, and there they say, they use the word nearly. Sorry, nearly all. Now nearly all means most of. Write it down somewhere. Nearly all is equal to most. Nearly all is equal to most. Right? Yes, exactly. So the question is, most of one side of the Mary Rose lay undamaged. Now what is the word for undamaged? Intact. Exactly. Intact is undamaged. So the answer is true. Fantastic. So far so good. Yeah. You should repeat all these things. जहाँ जहाँ पे answer मिल रहा है question number लिखते जाएं so that you could practice at home as well. Now we've got question number 4. Alexander McKee knew. This is very, very common in true, false, not given. Once you solve 8 to 10 tests, you will understand their techniques. Because I solve tests almost every other day. I teach tests. That now I understand. Now see that the word here is Alexander McKee knew that the wreck would contain many valuable historical objects. Now look here. If Alexander knew कि अगर उसको पता था, then the answer is true. And क्या पता था? Wreck means the wreckage, like the remaining part of the ship after wreckage. Wreck would contain many valuable historical objects. If he knew that the wreckage of the ship, like in Titanic, if you've seen, there is actually some old monuments and all that. So if that Alexander McKee knew that there would be some old things in the ship, then it is true. If he did not know, then false. And if they don't mention whether he knew it or not, then not given. So you should divide it into 3 parts. Always divide it into 3 parts. Now let's go back. And by the way, your clue word is Alexander McKee. Alexander McKee. Yeah. Alexander McKee is mentioned in the second page, left side column, second paragraph. Second page of the passage, left side column, second paragraph. Further excavation. Are you there? Yes. Mil gaya sabko? Okay, further excavation. Please come to 5th line. McKee is mentioned there. Right? And if the words are unusual, don't try to read them. I'm reading McKee as McKee. That's okay. Fun also. You will enjoy. Mood bhi acha rahega. हाँ, McKee ने की कीता. Yeah. McKee and his team now knew. Now they say, okay, let's go back and read from there. Further excavations revealed stray pieces of timber and an iron gun. But the climax to the operation came when on 5 May 1971, I'm reading that paragraph, part of the ship's frame was uncovered. McKee and his team now knew for certain that they had found the wreck, but were as yet unaware. See that wreck they found, they knew that. Now many of you will not read after that. Yahin pe kahenge he knew, answer is true. Jaan choti aage chalo. So you need to make sure. This is what we call trap. What's the trap? Now they are talking about some other thing. They are not talking about the things they found in the ship. They are talking about the wreckage of the ship. Wreckage means the dead body of the ship. Okay, yeah, in simple words. So McKee and his team now knew. Now if you read until here, you say now knew, answer is true, and that's it. Now read on, because they changed their statement. Now knew for certain that they had found the wreck, but were as yet unaware that it also housed a treasure trove of beautifully preserved artifacts. Unaware. Unaware means they did not know. Past tense. They did not know. Now go back to the question. Alexander McKee knew that the wreckage would contain many valuable. What is the word for valuable?
Important.
Treasure. They have used the word a treasure trove of beautifully preserved artifacts. What is the word for artifacts? Historical objects. So this is what you need to find. Always find. And I would suggest you make a notebook where you can write all these words. Words in question, words in passage. So just write them and this will help you. Okay? So the answer to question number 4 is false. Why false? Because he did not know about that. He was unaware. So for knew, they use the word unaware. Unaware is opposite of that. Is this clear? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys. Now, in part 1, we've got another question type. That is what we call matching. I tell you one more thing. IELTS depends on your luck as well. Right? I mean, examiners don't agree with that, but IELTS depends on your luck. For example, in part 1, you find 5 true false not given and 7 sentence completion questions. You can do them easily, for example, right? But if you find more sets of questions means there will be a variety of questions. Like in one of the exams, one candidate told me that there were only 3 questions of one type, then another type, then another type, then another type. So it means there are more questions. But if there are 5 to 6 questions related to one type, then most definitely you can do that easily because there is a proper sequence for that. For IELTS reading, we have 3 basic reading techniques. The first one is what we call skimming. Skimming is required when you are doing true false not given. Right? True false, when you're doing list of headings. Okay, when you're doing list of headings, then you need skimming. Another technique that is not reading, we call it scanning. Now, what is scanning? You are looking for a specific word, and usually that word is clue word. The clue word which you read in the question, you are looking for that word. So when you are scanning, don't just scan line by line. You can scan in waves. How to scan in waves? Okay, come to the passage. Passage 1, title page, Raising the Merry Rose. Are you there? Yes. Okay, now we are on the first paragraph. So you are going to scan. Now when you scan, there are several ways of it. Like you can scan like this, then like this, S. How will you? Because when you are scanning, you are not reading. Keep in mind, when you are scanning, you are not reading. You are only searching. So you're not reading anything. So that is why you can scan, go at the end of the sentence, come to next sentence, come back. Next sentence, go ahead. Next sentence, come back. This is how you can scan, right? Now, we've got this paragraph. Please find the word undisciplined. First paragraph, undisciplined. मिल जाए तो मेरी तरफ देखने लग जाए. Good, good, very good. That means your scanning is good. बाकियों को भी बता दें कहाँ पे है. मिल गया? Undisciplined मिल गया? Okay, same first paragraph and look for the word recover. Got it? Very good. Okay, let's go on. Same paragraph and you got to look for the word crew. Mil gaya. Very good. See that? So this is what we call scanning. And when you're scanning, you're not reading. Okay, now if you read, I had a student said scan for the word. He started reading. Once upon a time there was a crow and the crow was thirsty and all that. No, you're not reading. If you are reading like time management, students usually ask me the question, how can we do one passage in 1 hour, one IELTS reading test in 1 hour? We've got 3 long passages and all that. So when you read extra, when you do a lot of extra reading, then in 1 hour you will finish only one passage. But if you know how to read the question and you are very, very clear about where to go, where to search, and you know where questions and answers are in order, and you know if these are first 4 or 5 questions, I need to start from the beginning, right? And sometimes, for example, you're doing the last 2-3 questions, and you know one part of the passage is untouched. Go there and try to find the answer there, right? So these are the techniques which you will develop once you practice. I would recommend to solve at least 30 reading tests. 1 test a day. Don't do more than 2 tests a day, because then your ability is gone. Once a student said, sir, I took 4 reading tests. In the 4th test, I got only 12 correct answers. I said, when did you do them? At midnight. Okay, first test started at 12, second started at 1, then at 2, then at 3. So don't be crazy. After 1 hour, your brain stops processing everything. So don't take the tests all together. At least there should be 1 to 2 hours gap between 2 reading tests. Otherwise, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Right? Don't do them consecutively. When you do consecutively, then you cannot get good bench score. Okay, now let's go on. The next question type is, look at the following statements, questions 5 to 8. Match each statement with the correct date A to G. Now we have to match the statements with the date, and by the way, questions are 4 and the dates are 7. So if you do it date wise, it will be very difficult. It's better to do it question wise, and for this you need your scanning. Let's read question number 5. A search for the Mary Rose was launched. Now look here. Be logical. Whenever you are doing IELTS reading, be logical. Whenever they talk about search, search was launched or search operation started, it should be somewhere in the beginning, or you can just look for the word the search took place or the operation started and all that. Now please go back and see where do they talk about it. Go back to the passage and see where do they talk about search and all that. I just tell you the title page. Only on the title page, scan it and just see where. And sometimes, one more thing, please listen. When you scan, sometimes you change to skim, then again scan, then again skim, then again scan. And when you realize answer is here, then you shift to the third one. The third one is careful reading. Okay, yeah. So same title page and scan. The search started.
Third paragraph.
First, second, third.
Third.
No, it's not third.
Fourth.
Yes. Look, they use the word initiated a project called Solent Ships. Initiated a project. Now I'm reading this one. Mary Rose then faded into obscurity for another 100 years. Right? But in 1965, military historian and amateur diver Alexander McKee, in conjunction with the British Sub-Aqua Club, initiated a project called Solent Ships. While on paper this was a plan to examine a number of known wrecks in the Solent, what McKee, come to next page, really hoped for was to find the Mary Rose. Clear?
Yes.
To find the Mary Rose. So when did they start the project? 1965. Now what is 1965? C. So the answer will be C. And again, don't be emotional. मैंने सी भी लिखा था, साथ छोटा सा 1965 भी लिख के आया था, ताकि बैंड पूरा मिले. पूरा बैंड मिलेगा? No, not at all. Okay, don't write anything extra. Whenever they label it, just write the label. So C is done. Now we'll not use C. Please come to question number 6. One person's exploration, underline one person's exploration of the Mary Rose site stopped. One person's exploration stopped. They stopped him from exploring Mary Rose. Now go back and look for it. Where do they talk about it? One person's exploration stopped. Start from the title passage again. No, options are not in order. Option order में होगे तो फिर स्यापा ही क्या? हाँ? Okay. Just search please. Title page. Title page को देखें. मेरा मुंह ना देखें. Title page का मुंह देखें. Okay. All right. One person's exploration of Mary Rose site stopped. One person's exploration stopped. Come to second last paragraph. Second last paragraph. And there they say, exploring further, he uncovered several other timbers and a bronze gun. Dean continued diving on the site intermittently until 1840. He continued diving until 1840. What does that mean? छोड़ दिया. Now if I say I continued going to Canada until 2015. I continued going to Canada until 2015 means कि मैं 2015 तक कनाडा जाता रहा. उसके बाद अब ये जो छोड़ दिया ये खुद से सोचना है. Right? I mean, you've got to think about it. If someone says, I continued going there till this time, it means then he stopped actually doing that. So what's the year for that? 18. And by the way, until is the word which they have used for stopped. Right? Yeah, I finished my work until midnight. Or I continued working until midnight. What does that mean? I continued working until midnight. It means I stopped at midnight, right? So what is the answer? 1840. Now what is 1840? Option B. So the right answer for question number 6 is B for boy. Correct? Everyone found it? Please underline all these things. कुछ चीजें अभी समझ आएंगी, कुछ चीजें घर जाके समझ आएंगी, कुछ चीजें रिपीट करने से समझ आएंगी. Okay? Let's go on. Question number 7. It was agreed that the hull of the Mary Rose should be raised. Now look here. Now you got to find out where do they mention that it was agreed, like they agreed that the hull of the Mary Rose should be raised. Where is it? Second page. Very good. Second paragraph, last line. While the original aim was to raise the hull, if at all feasible, the operation was not given the go-ahead until. While the original aim was to raise the hull. Now the question is, it was agreed that the hull of the Mary Rose should be raised. Now what is the word for it was agreed? Word बताएं मुझे. What is the word for it was agreed? No. Might be possible is not, it was agreed. While the original aim was, when you have original aim, it means you agree on something. While the original aim was to raise the hull, if at all feasible. So it was agreed that the hull of the Mary Rose should be raised. So it was agreed के लिए क्या आया? हाँ? Original aim was. Right? Original aim was. So it happened in 1982. So what is 1982? G. So G is the answer for question number 7. Okay, let's go on. Question number 8. The site of Mary Rose was found by chance. Now you should go back and start in the beginning, because site is something that initially they found. The site of the Mary Rose was found. Very good. 1836. It's the third paragraph. Then on 16 June 1836, some fishermen in the Solent found that their equipment was caught on an underwater obstruction, which turned out to be Mary Rose. Now what's the question? The site of Mary Rose was found by chance. And what was that chance? The fishermen, they were throwing their nets. Net उन बिचारों का फंस जाता था, वापस नहीं आता था. So then they realized actually there was that sunken boat or ship, Mary Rose. So which year did this happen? 1836 is actually A. Now on your answer sheet, you will write these letters in order. By the way, if you don't write them in the same order, your answer will be wrong. Absolutely wrong. It's not like multiple choice where out of 5 you select 2. There you can आगे पीछे कर सकते हैं, but not here. Okay, so the right answer, question number 5 is C, 6 is B, 7 is G, and 8 is A. Is that clear? And again I tell you, you should repeat it, and then you will realize in IELTS reading they repeat the same type of things. They don't have many options, many choices. They tend to repeat the same ideas time and again. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we go on. Label the diagram below. Labeling is a common question type in academic IELTS. In general training IELTS, you can find labeling tasks in only part 3. In part 1, 2, you will never find labeling, and there are less chances of labeling for general training IELTS, but it is on their menu. I mean, labeling is on their menu. If there is anything like damn or, then they can give you this thing. Okay, now label the diagram below. Whenever they give you labeling the diagram, the first thing is questions and answers will be in order. Okay. The second thing is most of the time answers are grouped together in one paragraph or in two paragraphs. They are grouped together. Grouped together means एक ही paragraph में सारे मिल जाएंगे. Or sometimes two paragraphs, but they are going to be in proper order. So again, you will use your scanning technique. And guys, one thing always remember, the first answer will be hard to find, will be difficult to find, the first question. Once you find one answer, then rest you can go on easily, right? And doing the first 4-5 questions of one passage will take more time. When you do the next 5 questions, it will take less time. The last 4 questions, because in each passage we've got 14 to 15 questions, so they will take less time. Okay? Same way you start passage 2. Passage 2, first questions will take more time. Second set of questions, you understand set of questions. Yeah. Like true, false, not given is one set, list of headings is another set. So when you start with the second set of questions, it will take less time. Third set will take even less time. So you should manage your time, and there will be the clocks in actual exam. Keep looking for passage 1. Try to get rid of it in 15 minutes, and you can do that. And again, if you can't manage your time in IELTS reading, I tell you the reason. You do extensive reading. You read everything. You don't believe in scanning. You don't believe in skimming. You just believe in reading. More you read, more you will be confused. More you will fail to find the answer. If there is a question that is irritating you and you can't find the answer, leave it. Don't spend more than 40 seconds on one answer in case you are not finding the answer. You can always come back when you're doing other questions, then you can do that as well, right? So you should be extra careful about it, and transferring the answers on the answer sheet in reading is really good. When you do part 1, write the answers on the answer sheet. Part 2, write the answers to the answer sheet after that. And part 3, write your answers directly on the answer sheet, because no extra time will be given. And even if you write one word, once the time is over, again you will not receive your result. You will receive a letter, and that will tell you that आपने sign किए थे. So now your result is cancelled. So take IELTS test again. Okay. Now please come to this. First they said no more than 2 words. So maximum words are 2 and minimum 1. Very simple. You should be clear about that. No more than 2 words does not mean every time 2 words. Now what's the title? Raising the Hull of Mary Rose, Stages 1 and 2. It means we will go to the part of the passage where they are talking about raising the hull. Now if you remember, you read it somewhere, they talked about it. Stages 1 and 2. So there are 2 stages. You can mark those stages and then you can come back to the questions. Question number 9. I'm reading the question now. Question number 9. Okay, you found it. Let's read the question, by the way. Question number 9. Dash attached to hull by wires. Now please underline hull and underline wires. And take a look at the picture. Wire means तार और रस्सी. रस्सियों से कुछ बांधा हुआ है. Okay. So dash attached to hull by wires. Now listen. Where there is the dash, just imagine that you write what attached to hull by wires. What attached to hull by. मैं क्वेश्चन पढ़ रहा हूँ, आप आंसर बता रहे हैं, फिर आप कहेंगे रीडिंग की समझ नहीं आती. Okay, so just let's do it together, right? There's no speed competition or reading competition. इनाम कोई नहीं मिलेगा. ये पानी की बोतल है, कप नहीं है. Yeah, exactly. So let's do it all together. ठीक है, आगे ना निकलें, पीछे भी ना रहें. That's fine. All right. Now we go back and we look for the word hull and wires. For wires, they can use the word ropes or any other word like that. Please come back. Last, second part of the passage. Second left side. Second page and left side. Can you see the word wires? Fourth line. Okay, fourth line. Second page, left side, fourth line from the middle. The hull was attached to a lifting frame via a network of bolts and lifting wires. Hull was attached to lifting frame. Okay, via a network of bolts and Lifting wires. Now what will be the answer? Lifting frames. Clear? Now they said no more than 2 words, so you can write lifting and you can write frame also. Is frame singular or plural? Singular. So you will write singular word. Okay? When you are doing IELTS reading and you are doing sentence completion, always copy the word from the passage as it is written, singular or plural. And one more instruction, whenever you are doing completion question type in listening or in reading, never use article. Article is a, and, the, some. Never write article. Okay? So now you can write the answer as lifting frame. That will be the answer. Is that clear? Okay. Now after that we move on. They talk about legs, and then question number 10. Dash to prevent hull being sucked into the mud. Underline mud. Being sucked into the mud. के जमीन के अंदर ना धंस जाए. Being sucked into the mud means मट्टी के अंदर ना धंस जाए. Now go back, and I said answers are in order. Okay? And they said dash to prevent. Legs is already written. The word which is already written can never be the answer. Keep in mind that. They've written legs over there. So, I'm reading the same paragraph. Please follow me. The problem of the hull being sucked back downwards into the mud was overcome by using 12 hydraulic jacks. Now, if you write 12 hydraulic jacks, will that be the right answer? No, because it's no more than 2 words, and they did not mention any number. So the answer is hydraulic jacks to prevent hull being sucked into the mud. Please always remember, if a word is written in the question, that word can never be the answer. Okay, keep in mind. So the answer is hydraulic jacks. Now after that, see, there is one part they have explained. So we will come to question number 12. Now by the way, there will be some distance between question number 10 and 12. Try to be logical. जरा देखें, ये 2-3 चीजें उन्होंने explain की हुई हैं, and there is no question. That means passage थोड़ा सा आगे जाएगा. Right? Crane, hook. I don't want you to read that. Crane, hook, legs, and hull of ship and all that. Now please come to question number 11. Legs are placed into. Now legs are placed into. किस चीज के ऊपर legs खड़ी हुई हैं? Legs are placed into. So focus the word placed and then legs. And it's after hull of ship. Hook, crane, hull of ship and all that. Yes. So what is the answer? Good. This required a precise positioning to locate the legs. Now locate means, word बताए ना क्या है? Locate की जगह पे क्या word आया है? Place. Locate and place, they are synonyms. This is what you will write on your notebook. Words in question and words in passage. So for locate they use the word place. The legs into the stabbing guides. Now stabbing guides is in inverted commas. You will not write any punctuation mark in listening and in reading. When you are transferring your answers to the answer sheet, don't use any punctuation mark. Just write stabbing and guides plural. Is that clear? You should be very, very careful about singular plural as well. Okay, now we move on to question number 12. 12 is on the left side. 11 के बाद 13 पे jump लगा के ये नहीं कहना how high 12 is left. You should follow the order. Hull is lowered into. Now look here. Hull is lowered into. उसे नीचे किया जाता है किस चीज पे? Hull is lowered into. Focus the word lowered. Yeah, read on. And now see, this answer is before 11. This answer is before question number 11. Yeah. And the hull was lifted completely clear of the seabed and transferred underwater into the lifting cradle. Transferred underwater into the lifting cradle. So hull is lowered into. Lowered into. What is the word for lowered into?
Transferred.
Exactly. Transferred underwater. So transferred underwater means lowered into. पानी के नीचे होगा तो lower होगा. Answer is lifting cradle. Now, if you don't even know the meaning of these words, that doesn't matter. In IELTS reading, there are so many technical words, there are so many difficult words, but I mean, it's not necessary that you understand the meaning. Now, by the way, you wrote one question, hydraulic jacks. Some people know about it, but even if you don't know, it's fine. If you don't know the meaning of stabbing guides, if you don't know what the hell is stabbing guide, that doesn't matter. It is just something you found and you wrote it. So the other words which will help you find the answer, you should know those words. Okay, question number 13. Now see, there are two arrows. Two lines going up. Whenever there are two lines, that means answer will be plural. Okay, or they would talk about those things in plural. Dash used as extra protection for the hull. Underline the word extra protection for the hull. Good. Airbags to provide additional cushioning. Now, additional cushioning and extra protection, they are synonyms in IELTS. Is that clear? So, this is how logically you will go on with reading. वो भाई को तकिया ला दें, उनको नींद आ रही है, कंबल भी चाहिए? हाँ, जहाज में बैठे हुए ना, अभी आप बटन दबाएं, एरोस्टेस आएंगी, चाय भी मिलेगी आपको. हैंड आउट किधर है? उसको देखिए ना, आप वैसे हाथ करके बैठे हुए जैसे पता नहीं क्या अभी कोई सीन लगेगा यहाँ पे. Alright, be active and alert. Okay, now please, first there is some bhashan, and after bhashan we'll go through this question type. List of headings. Very common question type in gender training reading part 3 and academic reading in any part. Okay, and one more thing, these question types can be repeated. For example, sentence completion, you can find it 2 times in 2-3 passages. True false not given, you can find true false not given in passage 1, then again you can find it with passage 3. So this question type can be repeated also, but usually list of headings, they don't repeat. In one test, you will only find one passage which is related to list of headings. Okay, now listen. Whenever you are doing list of headings, the first thing is read and interpret the headings. This is what I call your action plan. Okay, now don't ask me, are they in order? If they are in order, then there is no siapa. Question number 14, heading number 1, 15, heading number 2. Right? They are not in order, right? So the first thing is you will read and interpret the heading. Now you will not skim, you will not scan. For list of headings, you don't need scanning, by the way. And you should know that where do I need scanning, where do I need skimming, where do I need careful reading. For list of headings, you need skimming plus careful reading. 2 things. I'll explain everything, don't worry. We'll do it all together. Okay, so actually, first let's read the headings, then I will tell you about the paragraph. List of headings, the first heading. Evidence, underline the word evidence of innovative environment management practices. So, evidence of innovative environment management practices. Evidence means they will give you a proof. In one paragraph, they will give you a proof. Proof of what? Innovative environment management practices. That's it. Okay, I mean, don't focus everything, just focus, there will be some evidence. For evidence, they can give you a case study, they can give you an example, right, or anything like that. Heading number 2, undisputed answer, underline undisputed answer to a question about MOI. Now, you don't know yet what is MOI. We have done one mistake actually. The thing is, first of all, you should read the title of the passage. Now, please, let's go on. What destroyed the civilization of Easter Island? What destroyed the civilization of Easter Island? So now we understand there was a civilization in Easter Island. What civilized that? What destroyed that civilization? So all the passage is about that. So first, always read the title of the passage and just for few seconds switch on your imagination and think about, we've got Harappa civilization, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and all that. So just like that, there was a civilization of Easter Island. Okay, now heading number 2 is undisputed answer. Undisputed answer means everyone agrees. Disputed answer means your answer is different, your answer is different, your answer is different, my answer is different. Undisputed answer means same answer, where there is no dispute. So, undisputed answer to a question about Moi. Heading number 3, future of Moi statues. Now look here, whenever in list of headings they use the word future, either they use future years, 2030, 2040, or they can use the words like speculation, it can be predicted, or any other thing like that, right? Next, theory which supports a local belief. Theory and supports a local belief, like local people believe this, and then there is a theory that supports that belief, right? Okay, now let's go on. The next one is heading number, 5. Yeah, 4 I missed. I read about that. 5 is future of Easter Island. So this is again about future of Easter Island. Now, if there are two headings which are similar or which look similar, they are usually, one of them is a trap. Usually, but not always. Okay, if two headings look similar, one of them is a trap. Let's go on. So this is heading number 5 is future of Easter Island, and heading number 3 is future of Moi. Heading number 6, two opposing views. Now whenever they say two opposing views in the passage, this is some people believe. On the other hand, a vast majority of people think. So two opposing views. And for this, you will look for the words like however, on the other hand, on the contrary, contrary to this, and all that. Next, heading number 7, destruction outside the inhabitants' control. Now, destruction which was out of control for inhabitants. Inhabitants are the people who live in a place and all that. Like if we live in Lahore, we are the inhabitants of Lahore. So, destruction which was outside the control of people. Next, by the way, I'm reading and explaining, it's taking more time. Once you read the main main topic of the passage, your imagination is on. Whatever you read, you will put it in your imagination, right? Next, how the statues made a situation worse. Statues made the situation worse. Situation was already bad, but because of statues, the situation became worse. Heading number 9, diminishing food resources. Very simple. Agricultural land. Okay. Drought is one of the things. Agricultural land. Or if they depended on fruit trees, they died. Or if they depended on animals or birds or anything, hunting and all that. So diminishing food resources. Diminishing means decreasing or finishing food resources. Right. Now, please come to the passage. Okay, now please listen carefully. In the paragraph, there is one thing which is called main idea. Now I'm talking about paragraph. I'm not talking about passage. In the paragraph, there is one thing which is called main idea. And you are always looking for that main idea. Remember, if the paragraph starts like with a lot of explanation, right? For example, or they start like in essay writing, I told you, write a general sentence about the topic. So if it starts with a general sentence, read on. And by the way, when you are reading, you are skimming, reading. Skimming, and reading. Skipping means you read a line in the beginning and then you realize, no, it's not something, they're just explaining the same thing. Then you skip that sentence and immediately find the full stop and read after that. Then if you understand it is something they are saying, that is the main idea and all that, and then I will tell you the location of main idea also. So skimming, skipping and reading, you will do that, okay? Now, where is the main idea? This is a very good question. Most of the teachers, they tell you the first line. That's not always true. Okay, and one more thing. If you find list of headings in passage 1, then you can focus first line, second line. But if you find list of headings in passage 2 or passage 3, then it is a little more complex. So you need to find that main idea. Now there are 3 distinct locations where you can find the main idea. The first one is the first sentence. Some paragraphs are very, very, focused. They start with the main idea and then they go on and elaborate the main idea. Some paragraphs are written in a way that they narrate the whole point. At the end, they conclude with the main idea. And some paragraphs, they start with general idea. In the middle, they introduce the main idea. By the way, one thing to remember, one sentence in the passage, in the paragraph, will match with heading. Now, you're not supposed to read pura passage, paragraph padunga, phir sochunga, full paragraph is about this and that. No, they have distinctively mentioned one sentence in the paragraph which will match with headings. Okay, now let's come to paragraph A. And you don't need to read all the paragraph. Let's just go on. Easter Island or Rapa Nui as it is known locally. Now you understand they are talking about it in general. Please jump to third sentence. Polynesian, it remained isolated for centuries. Okay, all of the energy and resources. Let's move on. Please jump to for many kilometers. Found it? For many kilometers without the use of animals or wheels to massive stone platforms. Okay, now please jump to Thor Heyerdahl. Found it?
Yes, sir.
Thor Heyerdahl, the Norwegian ethnographer and adventurer, thought, okay, best-selling Swiss author Erich von believed they were built by standard extraterrestrials. Okay, now let's come to the last one. Modern science, linguistic, archaeological, and genetic evidence. Focus this word. Modern science, linguistic, archaeological, and genetic evidence has definitely proved the Moai builders were Polynesians, but not how they moved their creations. What have they proved? Moai builders were Polynesians, but not how they moved their creations and local folklores and all that. Now, this is the sentence, modern science, linguistic and all that. Now, find one option from list of headings. And when I ask you, then tell me, please. Just match something. Modern science, linguistic, archaeological and genetic evidence has definitely proved the Moai builders were Polynesians, but how they moved their creations, local folklore maintain that the statues walked, while researchers have tended to assume the ancestors dragged the statues somehow using ropes and logs. So, okay, heading number 4 is theory which supports a local belief. Wrong. Heading number 5, future of Easter Island. Not at all, for God's sake. They did not mention anything about future. Heading number 1 is evidence. Okay, now the word evidence is matching. Now let's see what is evidence. Evidence of innovative environment management practices. They did not mention environment management practices. Heading number 2, undisputed answer to a question about Moai. Now look here. You will tell me what is undisputed answer and you will tell me what is the question about Moai. Please go back. Modern science, linguistic, archaeologist and genetic evidence has definitely proved. See that? Now it has definitely proved the Moai builders were Polynesians. So the question was, were Moai builders Polynesians? So they have proved. So what's the heading? Undisputed answer. So undisputed answer means science, technology, genetics and this and that. So this answer given by all of them is actually that Moai builders were Polynesians. Okay, so that is why heading number 2 is the right answer for question number 14. Okay. All right. Now, one more thing. Whenever you are using list of headings, you must write Roman numbers. Roman numbers. Okay. Roman number II. Yes. No. Undisputed. You know, they say undisputed territory. One is disputed territory. One is undisputed. Undisputed जिसका कोई झगड़ा नहीं है. Disputed जिसका झगड़ा है. Like they say, yeah, all right, that's good. Is that clear? Undisputed. Okay, so for question number 14, paragraph A, heading number 2, and you will write 2 as double I. That is Roman number. Okay, now we've got paragraph B, and you can do one more thing. When you are doing list of headings, always start with the shortest paragraph. And once you find one heading in the beginning, now for example, you found heading number 2, where 2 is written, cross it, so that you don't read heading number 2. Sometimes, you know, this will happen. You will be too much confused. You will read a heading and put it on a paragraph, and later you realize ये तो मैंने पहले ही लगाई हुई है कहीं. Okay, and there is one heading in list of headings that is what I call universal heading. आपको लगेगा ये हर जगह ही लगती है. Okay, so avoid that. Usually that is also a trap, a universal heading. Okay guys, now let's move on paragraph B. Let's focus paragraph B. I give you half minute to skim through it. Please do it quietly. Skim through paragraph B. Just focus, what are they saying? Don't whisper. In actual exam you're not allowed. सिर्फ दिल में पढ़ना है. Focus the last 4-5 lines of this paragraph. They're talking about farming, firework, fishing, birds, erosion decreased their crops, farming, they ate birds, worst case scenario. Go back and see which heading is appropriate. Heading number 7 is destruction outside the inhabitants' control. No, this is not destruction. This is diminishing food resources. Now tell me, what are the food resources? Yeah, crops, then fishing, then they were eating birds and all that. So heading number 9, diminishing food resources, and why? I tell you, paragraph B, last few lines. They mentioned as trees became scarce. Last 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 5 lines. As trees became scarce and they could no longer construct wooden canoes for fishing. Trees became scarce, no longer built canoes for fish. Canoe is a boat actually. For fishing, they ate birds. Soil erosion, another diminishing resource. Soil erosion. Decrease their crops. So decrease is diminish, and food resources. So all these resources are food resources. Okay. Now you know what do? They actually categorize the things. All the resources like food resources in the passage they mentioned 4, 5, 6 resources. In the heading they use the word food resources. So for question number 15, heading number 9 is the right answer. English please.
Nations arrived, did those who has disappeared.
Yeah, even that is the word that tells you.
Sir, this is a trap.
This is for the other one. Okay, which heading you selected?
7.
Heading number 7. Okay, destruction outside. Now listen, outside inhabitants control something that they could not control, right? So they are talking about destruction. It will come. Okay, I will put this heading somewhere. Don't worry. Then I'll tell you about it, okay? So that is just a trap. In IELTS reading, whenever you are sure 100% that the answer is this, but the answer is that, it means you are wrong. Right? IELTS auntie can never be wrong. IELTS वाली auntie कभी गलत नहीं हो सकती, ठीक है? गलत होंगे तो आप होंगे, yeah? Okay. Let's go on please. Now we've got paragraph C. It's a short paragraph. I give you half minute to skim. और देखना है पैराग्राफ की डायरेक्शन कहां को जा रही है. हेडिंग्स जो है उसको माइंड में रखें. They are giving some theories of some people. Let's just see.
seven. So ये seven है. More land had to be cleared.
Okay, they compared by building ever bigger figures. Now, figures are statues. Figure is the word for statue. Diamond thinks they laid the moi on wooden sledge. Moi is actually that statue. Okay, they laid it on wooden sledge, hauled over log rails, but that required both a lot of wood and a lot of people. To feel the people, even more land and all that. So, which heading you said? Third one is future of the Moi statue. Okay, this is the heading which is not appropriate. And by the way, usually future thing is used in the last 2-3 paragraphs. 7 is destruction outside the inhabitants' control. No, it's actually heading number 8. How the statues made a situation worse. They are mentioning to move the statues, they needed wooden log. They needed pieces of wood to move the statues. So this is how the situation was worse. Let's go back. The Moi, I'm reading paragraph C. He thinks accelerated the self-destruction. They accelerated the self-destruction. How? Diamond interprets them as power displays by rival chieftains who, trapped on a remote little island, lacked other ways of asserting their dominance. They competed by building ever bigger figures. Diamond thinks they laid the Moi on wooden sledges, hauled over log rails. Log rail is the rail of wood. गोल लकड़ी का पीस नहीं होता, पूरा दरख्त होता है. That is what they call log rails. But that required both a lot of wood and a lot of people. To feed the people, even more land had to be cleared. When the wood was gone and civil war began and all that. Now again come back. Heading number 8. How the statue made a situation worse. They needed 2 things to move the statue. Number 1, wood. And number 2, people. Okay, so wood, for that they cleared the land. They chopped the trees. So that actually made the situation worse. So heading number 8 will be used with paragraph C. Question number 16. Okay, now please come to paragraph D. I give you 40 seconds for that. Please skim through it. Just focus from 4th line onwards. Don't do tukkas. 7 कहीं तो लग ही जाएगी ना बेचारेगी. Focus this sentence. Archaeological excavation indicate. 4th sentence. Archaeological excavations indicate that the Raponi or Rapanoi went to heroic efforts to protect the resources of their wind-lashed infertile fields. Okay, they built thousands of circular stone windbreaks. Focus that. Windbreaks and gardened inside them. Garden means they put some trees and all that and used broken volcanic rocks to keep the soil moist. Right? And in short, Hunt and Libo. Yeah. First is evidence of innovative environmental management practices. Well done. Now, please tell me, what is the word that they use for environmental management practices? Go back. Yeah, they use the word went to heroic efforts to protect the resources of their wind-lashed. Wind is related to environment. Let's go on. Infertile fields. They built thousands of circular stone windbreaks. Windbreak means, like, a storm is coming, so they use the stone to break the power of the storm. And gardened inside them and used broken volcanic rocks to keep soil moist. right? So all these things are related to environment. So heading number 1, evidence of innovative environment management practices, right? So heading number 1 is gone with that. Now please come to paragraph E. You've got half a minute. Paragraph E. Please first read everything carefully and then tell me. When they say recent experiments indicate, so go back and read before that. They also believe that moving the more required few. Okay. The right answer is actually heading number 4, theory which supports a local belief. Now please tell me the theory and tell me the local belief.
Evidence back.
That's right. So they say evidence back up Rapuni's folklore. Evidence backs up. Now what is local belief? Rapuni's folklore. Folklore is ilakai kahani. Right? Folklore is just ilakai kahani, and they say evidence backs up Rapuni's folklore. So evidence backs up means evidence actually supports an old belief that people have. Evidence of this is heading number 4, theory which supports a local belief. Local belief is folklore, ilakai kahani, and theory is that evidence. Okay, paragraph F. Good news. Read first 4 lines and you will find the answer. First 4 sentences. Please do it quietly. Future बता के सबको misguide कर दिए. Focus, where are they going? They are going towards destruction. That was not in their control.
7.
Okay, now tell me what was the destruction?
Deforestation.
Deforestation. Then they said palms show tiny grooves and made by the teeth of Polynesian rats. Right? The rats arrived along with the settlers, and in just few years, Hunt and Depot calculate they would have overrun the island. Like there were so many rats over there. They would have prevented the reseeding of the slow growing palm trees and thereby doomed Rapa Nui forest, and even without the settlers' campaign of deforestation. No doubt rats ate birds, eggs too, Hunt and Lipo. Now see that the way they are talking about rats, this is something that was out of their control. So destruction. Now what is destruction? The rats, they ate all the things. That is destruction. Outside the inhabitants' control means the local people could not control the rats. They ate birds' eggs. Usse parinde bhi khatam ho gaye. They ate the trees also and all that. So heading number 7 will go with paragraph F. Alright, now we've got paragraph G. Last paragraph. Wow. Hunt and Lipo's vision therefore is one of an island populated by peaceful and ingenious Moi builders and careful stewards of the land, rather than by reckless destroyers ruining their own environment and society. Just focus this. Hunt and Lipo's vision therefore is one. Their vision is one of an island populated by peaceful and ingenious Moi builders and careful stewards of the land, rather than by reckless destroyers ruining their own environment and society. Heading number 6, 2 opposing views about Rapuni's people. Now please tell me those 2 opposing views. Okay, one of an island populated by peaceful and ingenious moi builders and careful stewards of land. This is one view. Second, rather than by reckless destroyers ruining their own environment and society. So these are two views. One view, they are good people. Second view, they are bad people. So these are two views, and they use the word one. And for second view, they use the word rather than. From rather than, that is the second view. So for paragraph G, question number 20, right answer is heading number 6. Now tell me which headings are extra. 5 and 5 and 3. 3 is future of Moi statues and future of Easter Island. And I told you, अगर दो headings एक जैसी हो तो आम तौर पे confusing होती है. One can be used, second cannot be used, but these both headings were not actually used anywhere. Right? Now you will do one thing when you go back home. Just see paragraph A. For example, paragraph A, heading number 2 is the answer. Undisputed answer to a question about Moi. Now go back and find that undisputed question. What is that? And understand that, okay, this is the question and they gave the answer and the answer is undisputed about that. Then go on to paragraph B. See heading number 9. Heading number 9 is diminishing food resources. Now look for the word diminishing and look for food resources. Resources means plural. Whenever in heading they use plural word, they will mention 2, 3, 4 different resources. You understand? In the same way, move on to next questions and you can practice like this. Yeah. Okay, now we are going to go on with questions 21 to 24. Complete the summary below. Choose one word and or a number.
No, one word.
Yeah, one word only. Exactly. Very good. And one more thing. Usually list of heading questions. This question is given before the passage. Okay. It's not that you start from 21 to 24 and then you realize list of heading is there. So whenever they give list of headings, the question will be given before the passage. Then the passage starts and all that. Okay. Now we've got summary completion with one word only. Whenever there is any completion type of questions, mostly questions and answers will be in the same order. I'm using the word mostly. Yeah, mostly, right? Okay, and as they said, one word only. So this one word can be a noun, singular or plural noun, right? This one word can be an adjective. And by the way, whenever they say one word only, they try to give, for example, if they give you a question, like answer is cat. Answer is cat. They say, beautiful, brown, fluffy, cute cat. Now some students will write beautiful. Some will write fluffy. Some will write cute. Only few will write cat as an answer. So whenever they give you one word only, mostly answer is a noun. Mostly. Okay, so you just have to see that. And with the noun, they give you adjectives just to confuse you and all that. Okay, the title suggests Jared Diamond's view. Now we got to just look for the word Jared Diamond's view. Jared. Let's go back. Jared. Paragraph B. Found it? Jared Diamond, US scientist Jared Diamond. And one more thing you have to do. 2 to 3 things you must use. One is encircling. One is underlining. One is bracket. Like for example, when you're doing first question type, you can use underlining. When you do second question type, you can use encircling. When you do third question type, you can use bracketing and all that. So have you found the word US scientist Jared Diamond? Yes. Now you know answers are going to be here. They will start from here. Okay? And please I request you, you should be with me. And you know when you shout out the answer, जो बेचारे ढूंढ रहे होते हैं वो खत्म कर देते हैं. If I ask you a riddle, right? If I ask you a riddle and you don't know the answer, you're just thinking. But when someone tells you the answer, your brain stops working. So please do not yell the answers. अपने आप पे control रखें और ज़्यादातर answers गलत होते हैं जो आप yell करते हैं. Okay? So just keep it to yourself. Now when I ask you the answer, then you tell me. Now, let's take a start from the beginning. Diamond believes that Polynesian settlers on Rapa Nui destroyed its forests, cutting down its trees for fuel, underline that, trees for fuel, and clearing land for dash. Cutting down trees for fuel and clearing land for dash. Now, please don't tell me, go back. Paragraph B, US scientist J. Diamond. When the Icelanders created the forests for the firewood and farming, the forest didn't grow back. Cleared the forests. Cleared the forests, that means cutting down the trees for two purposes. One is firewood. What is the word they have used for firewood? Fueling. Exactly. They use the word fueling for firewood. Sorry, fuel. Trees for fuel. So trees for fuel means firewood. Okay, now what is the second thing? Farming. And farming. So the answer is farming. Absolutely. Now go back and look at the question and see, okay, trees for fuel. For that they use the word firewood. Okay, firewood is trees for fuel. So this is IELTS language. Make your notebook. उसके बाद दूसरे लोगों के काम आएगी. Next one. Question number 22. Then they say 20th century discoveries of pollen prove that Rapa Nui had once been covered in palm forest, which had turned into grassland by the time the Europeans arrived on the island. When the Icelanders were no longer able to build the dash, they needed to go fishing. Go back. Go answer बताना नहीं, जब पूछूंगा तब बताना है. They needed something to go fishing. Right? So it's the same paragraph. Could no longer construct. For construct they use the word build. Wooden canoes. So the right answer is wooden. Now check. Some students will write wooden as the right answer. And some will write both. Wooden canoes means lakdi ki kashti. Right? Wooden is actually that lakdi. So the right answer, as I said, answer will be a noun. Right? Now wooden is adjective and canoe is noun. So answer for question number 22 is canoe. They needed to go fishing. They began using the island's dash as a food source. Read on and don't tell me the answer unless I ask you. They began using the island's dash as a food source. Same paragraph. They ate birds. They ate birds. Now, what is the answer? They began using the island's bird as a food source. Now, what is the word for food source? Ate. Exactly, ate. So, food source is ate and birds will be the answer. Right? Okay, now let's go on. Everyone is with me? Yes. Very good. Let's go on. According to Diamond, Diamond also claims that the Moi were built. Now, Diamond is Hira. No, it's the name. Yeah, thank you very much. You say Hire di ਗੱਲ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਈ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ. Yeah, and we do have this nickname here as well, Punjabi name, Pain Hira. Yeah, exactly. Diamond also claims that Moi were built to show the power of islands, chieftains, and that the method of transporting the statues needed not only a great number of people, you read about it already. Yeah. They needed people but also a great deal of, go back, great deal of, it's very next paragraph, C. They required both a lot of wood and a lot of people. Found it? Yes. Fifth line, paragraph C. Lot of wood and lot of people. What have they used for lot of people? Great number of people. Now, a lot of and a great number of, they are synonyms. And again, when you write in your notebook, the words that appear in question, write them in question side. And the words that appear in passage, write them in passage side. Is that clear? So, question number 21, farming. 22, canoes. 23, birds. And 24, wood. All right. Yeah. Okay, now we've got questions 25 and 26. Choose two letters A to E. And I told you wherever you've got options A, B, C, D, you just want to do tukka. Especially when you don't understand, you just want to do tukka and all that. Okay, write the correct letter in boxes 25 and 26 on your answer sheet. So this is multiple choice where out of 5 you have to select two options. On what points do Hunt and Lipo disagree with Diamond? Now, by the way, this question is quite complicated. You need to find the points of Hunt and Lipo, and then you got to see on what points do Hunt and Lipo disagree with Diamond. Right? Now, let's go back. For this, you have to come to paragraph D. D for doctor. Read paragraph D from 4th line. Rather from 3rd last line. They built thousands of circular stone windbreaks and garden inside them and use broken volcanic rocks to keep the soil moist. In short, Hunt and Lipo argue the prehistoric Rapuni were pioneers of sustainable farming. Underline that. Pioneers of sustainable farming. This is what they say. Next paragraph, Hunt and Lipo contend that Moi building was an activity that helped keep the place between Icelanders. They also believe that moving the Moi required few people. Now this is the opposite thing. Required few people and no wood because they were walked upright on that issue. Hunt and Lipo say archaeological evidence backs up Rapuni folklore. So, recent experiments and all that. Now, let's see. Do we know enough? On what points Hunt and Lipo disagree with Diamond?
Transported B.
Yes, this is one of the options. How the Mois were transported. Because he said for that they needed a lot of wood and a lot of people. But here they say, yeah, they required few people and no wood. Few people and no wood is actually the opposite to what he said. Right? Please come to paragraph C. Paragraph C. There you will find Diamond. Paragraph C, 4th line. Diamond thinks they laid the Moi on wooden sledges hauled over log rails, but that required both a lot of wood and lot of people. Now who is saying that? Diamond. And Hunt and Lipo, what do they say? No wood because they were walked upright and all that. So what is the first answer? Option B. How the Moi were transported. Okay. Now let's just go on, and we got to come back to paragraph E. E for elephant. Again they say Hunt and Lipo. I'm reading sentence number 4. Hunt and Lipo say archaeological evidence backs up Rapuni folklore, and then they talk about that recent experiment. If we go back, paragraph D, last 5 lines, archaeological excavations indicate that Rapuni went to historic efforts to protect the resources of their windlashes, infertile fields and all that. And come back to paragraph C. Paragraph C, 3rd line. They competed by building ever bigger figures. Diamond thinks. So he's saying they competed by building ever bigger figures. And before that, I'm reading paragraph C, please follow me. Now actually we got to read C and D to compare. C is Moi, he thinks, accelerated the self-destruction. Diamond interprets them as power displays by rival chieftains who trapped on a remote little land lacked other ways of asserting their dominance. So they competed by building ever bigger figures and all that. Now please come back. Option A is period when Moi were created. No, cross it. Elimination is the best way. जब समझ ना आए, eliminate the wrong options. Option E, origins of the people who made the Moi. No, cross it. D. How Moi were carved. Carving.
No.
No, not mentioned. Now what are we left with? C. Impact of Moi on Rapnui society. So sometimes wrong options out, and what you are left with will be the right answer. So over here 25, 26, B and C will be the right answers. And by the way, you can write them in any order. Only for this question type, right? Okay. Okay guys, now we've got the biggest elephant, reading passage 3. Okay, reading passage 3, the title is Neuroaesthetics. Now if you don't know what is neuroaesthetics, don't worry about it. You can read the first line. Emerging discipline called neuroaesthetic is seeking to bring scientific objectivity to the study of art. Scientific objectivity to the study of art, that is called neuroaesthetic. Like we say aesthetic sense, Jamaliyati Husn or something like that. Okay. Now after this, please come to questions. We've got question number 27 to 30. Right? Choose the correct letters. Now choose the correct letters, that means it is multiple choice. In our language, we call it multiple choice. In their language, they call it choose the correct letter. So, question number 27. In the second paragraph, so kind of them, they are telling us the location. Now, let me tell you in, Bhashan. In multiple choice questions and the passage, they will be in the same order. Let me use the word usually, but mostly when I solve the test, I've seen multiple choice questions, they are all in order. The first thing. The second thing is action plan. In multiple choice questions, read the question only. Do not read the options. Read the question only. After that, from the question, you can find a clue word. For example, question number 27. In the second paragraph, the writer refers to a shape-making test. Now underline shape-making test in order to illustrate. So first, you will look for the word shape matching test. Shape matching test. Now, after this, another thing, before you read the options, you have to read the passage. Before you read the options, you have to read the passage. Why? Because if you read the options, you have not read the passage and you are trying to do something without any information. Right? Now, first, you read the question. Second, find a clue word. Third, locate the clue word in the passage. And, take multiple choice questions as just a question without any options. For the time being, just think. The question is, in the second paragraph, the writer refers to shape matching test in order to illustrate what? Right? Or what is it that the writer is illustrating in the second paragraph to refer to shape matching test? Now you go back and you look for that and then we come back. Now please come to second paragraph. Have you found the word? Matching? Okay, now please come to, you should always read after the full stop. Please come to fourth line, last word, when. Found it? So listen, whenever you find the clue word, don't read from the clue word onwards. Go back and see where is the last full stop. Read from there. Let me just read it, please. When asked to make simple perceptual decisions such as matching a shape to its rotated image, for example, people often choose a definitively wrong answer if they see others doing the same. Now just keep this in mind. People often choose definitively wrong answer if they see others doing the same. Please be quiet. Let others find it and then you can tell me. And in multiple choice, one sentence in the passage will exactly match with one option out of 4 options. So they say people often choose a definitively wrong answer if they see others doing the same. Option C is, okay, let's read option A. Subjective nature of art appreciation. Yes or no?
No.
Cross it. Option B, reliance of modern art and abstract forms. No. Option D, Common problem encountered when processing visual data? No. Our tendency to be influenced by the opinions of others. Now, please, I want you to tell me what is the word for tendency, what is for influence, and what is for opinions of others. They say,
People often
yeah, when asked to make simple perceptual decisions, then they say, such as matching a shape or its rotated image. For example, people often choose a definitively wrong answer if they see others doing the same. So, tendency,
often choose.
that is, people often choose to be influenced if they see others doing the same. That is influence. Opinions of others. Yeah, now influence opinions of others means if they see others doing the same. Is that clear? So for question number 27, C will be the right answer. Question number 28. Now let's focus the question. Angelina, Holly, Dolan. Now if you can't read them, just read the first syllable. First syllable is Ange, Ho, Doll. Doll, you know? Gudiya, yeah? Alright. So Ange, Hall, Doll, finding indicate that people. Now go back, find the name. That is your clue word and indicate the people. Okay, everyone please come to third paragraph. Third paragraph, and there you find this name in the beginning. Now conclusion, please come to last 3 lines. In each set of trials, volunteers generally preferred the work of renowned artists even when they believed it was by an animal or a child. What do they say? In each set of trials, volunteers generally preferred the work of renowned artists even when they believed it was by an animal or a child. It seems that the viewer can sense the artist's vision in paintings even if they can't explain why. So please now come to question. These 2.5 sentences have the clue. I give you a few seconds. Please read them quietly and then tell me what's the right one. B for boy or D for doctor? Absolutely. Now I tell you why. Let's find it why. Option D, people. So they say people have the ability to perceive the intention behind works of art. Now let's find it. People have the ability to perceive the intention behind works of art. They say in each set of trials, volunteers, now volunteers are people, generally preferred the work of renowned artists even when they believed it was by an animal or a child. It seems that the viewer can sense artist's vision. So viewer is for people. People have the ability to perceive the intention. What is the word for perceive? What is the word for perceive? Sense. Have the ability to perceive. The phrase for that is can sense. Understand? Have the ability to perceive, can sense, and then intention behind work is artist's vision in painting. Artist's vision is intention behind work. Artist's vision is artist's intention. So question number 28, D is the right answer. Just locate it all. On second paragraph, last 3 lines, write 28. When you go back home, you can practice that. Now please come to question number 29. Results of studies involving Robert Pepperell's pieces suggest that people. Now you will find results actually. And involving Robert Pepperell's pieces suggest that people. So please come to 4th paragraph. Have you found Robert? And by the way, they said results. So results are usually in the last part of the paragraph. So please come to last 2 lines. It would seem that the brain sees these images as puzzles, and the harder it is to decipher the meaning, the more rewarding is the moment of recognition. Now match this thing with one of the options quietly and then tell me. Let's see. Okay. Let's wait for others.
C.
Okay. All right, as they're talking about painting and all that, so the right answer for question number 29 is B for boy. Now I tell you why. Results of studies involving Robert Pepperell's pieces suggest that people, option B, find it satisfying to work out what a painting represents. Now please go back. The longer they took to answer these questions, the more highly they rated the piece under scrutiny. Now, piece means painting, okay? And the greater their neural activity. It would seem that the brain sees these images as puzzles, and the harder it is to decipher the meaning, the more rewarding is the moment of recognition. Now, what is the word for more rewarding is the moment of recognition? Find it satisfying to work out what a painting represents. Okay, B will be the right answer here. Let's come to question number 30, please. What do the experiment described in the 5th paragraph? Now they mentioned, now first you will find 5th paragraph, then you will find that experiment suggest about the paintings of Mondrian. So 5th paragraph and experiment describes something about paintings of Mondrian. Let's go back to 5th paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Very first paragraph. Please follow me. I'm reading it for you. And what about artists such as Mondrian, whose paintings consist exclusively of horizontal and vertical lines encasing blocks of color? It's a question. Mondrian's works are deceptively simple. Deceptively means like it cheats and it is simple. But eye tracking studies confirm that they are meticulously composed and that simply rotating a piece. Rotating a piece means if the painting, you put the painting upside down. Right? I mean, you don't know, abstract art is sometimes seedhi padi hai, ulti padi hai, you don't care. So they say simply rotating a piece radically changes the way we view at it. Now focus something and then tell me what is the right one. A, B, C, D. Just focus this thing, rotating a piece radically changes the way we view. Okay. The right answer for that is actually A. I tell you why. I tell you, don't worry. Option A is they are. Now please tell me what is they? Paintings, right? Paintings are more carefully put together than they appear. Now then they appear. In the beginning he said, whose paintings consist exclusively of horizontal and vertical lines encasing blocks of color. Now what is that? That actually they appear something like that. Then they say Mondrian's work are deceptively simple. Deceptively simple means something that looks simple but actually it is not simple. देखने में वो बड़ा मासूम लगता है. एक नंबर का whatever you want to say after that, right? So that is what we call deceptively innocent. Use this word, deceptively innocent. Yeah, देखने में लगे बहुत भोला है, लेकिन actually भोला नहीं, उसका नाम पोला है, like that. So deceptively simple, but eye tracking studies confirm that they are meticulously composed. Like very carefully they are put together. Meticulously composed. The word composed is for put together. When you compose something, you put something together. So A is the right answer for question number 30. Okay, Art and Brain. Title is Art and Brain. Okay, now let's just read about it. It's a summary completion and you will have to, when you find the word from there, you will just write the label of the word. Label means A, B, C, D and all that. Let's read it together. The discipline of neuroaesthetics aims to bring scientific objectivity to the study of art. एक sentence खत्म हो गया. Next, neurological studies of the brain, for example, underline that example. Neurological studies of the brain, for example, demonstrate means they show the impact which impressionist paintings have on our means it's a body part or it is something related to us, our sense and all that. Now please underline impressionist paintings, so they demonstrate the impact which they have on us. Please now come back. Let's go back and we look for it and then we'll find the answer. First paragraph, third line. Yeah, now please follow me. The blurred imagery of impressionist paintings seems to stimulate the brain's amygdala. For instance, okay, since the amygdala, now you don't know what is amygdala and you don't need to know, they are mentioning it. Since the amygdala plays a crucial role in our feelings. And I told you feelings के लिए emotions का word आता है IELTS में. Go back and look for a word for feelings. I told you feelings emotions बड़े इकट्ठे होते हैं. नहीं, हम यहाँ पे इमोशंस लिखेंगे, राइट आंसर गलत कर लेंगे, हमने कौन सा बाहर जाना है? किन्नी बारी दसा मैं तेनू, हाँ इको गल बार बार पूछ के टीचर पर इसको पता चल गया ना, ये पूछो तो सर को गुस्सा आता है. क्या लिखेंगे? हाँ सी लिखेंगे. पता है इसको सारा, इसका आइट्स का अपना चैनल भी है, वहां पे जाके यहाँ की सेकंड हैंड टिप्स देते हैं. ओके, ऑलराइट.
सर पहले हमने ना एमसीक्यू सॉल्व किए थे,
ठीक है.
उसके बाद हमें फिलिंग द ब्लैंक्स आ गई, तो सॉल्व करते हुए पैसेज 3 को मैं दोनों एक साथ देख सकता हूँ?
Okay, now that will confuse you more. You can do that, but if you are evil genius or you have great retention power, then you can do that. अगर आप रोज सुबह उठ के 7 बादाम खाते हैं मेरी तरह, then you can do it. ठीक है, बट अदरवाइज अगर ये कि एक टाइप का क्वेश्चन पढ़ा, दूसरा भूल गया, वो पढ़ा, वो भूल गया, तो फिर बेहतर है कि 1 by 1 करें. अदरवाइज फिर वो एड पे ना, पता है क्या होगा, IELTS रीडिंग में एक फिनोमिना है, दैट्स व्हाट आई कॉल पाजड़. पंजाबी का वर्ड, राइट, कि इधर जाओ उधर जाओ, ये करो वो करो, ये भी क्वेश्चन का आंसर ढूंढ लूँ, वो भी कर लूँ, ये भी कर लूँ. तो अगर वो पाजड़ वाला काम शुरू हो गया ना, तो फिर एट द एंड कुछ भी नहीं होगा, फिर आप आखिरी 10 मिनटों में तुक्के लगा रहे होंगे. ठीक है, आंसर शीट बड़ी अच्छी फिल हुई होगी, साफ सुथरी, वर्ड्स अच्छे लिखे होंगे, बट एक्चुअली दिल बी द रॉन्ग आंसर्स, राइट. सो डू इट सिस्टमैटिकली, right, but I don't mind if you think you have good retention power, you can do that, right. Okay guys, so 31 is done. Now let's go on. Alex Forsyth. Now what's the clue word? Of the University of Liverpool. University of Liverpool ये मरीद के से आगे है. Okay, believes many artists give their work the precise degree of, underline precise degree of. Now there'll be a word for that. Please go back. Precise degree of. Third paragraph, second page. Got it? Please follow me. I'm reading it. In another experiment, Alex Forsyth of the University of Liverpool analyzed the visual intricacy of different pieces of art, and her results suggest that many artists use a key level of. Now guys, key level of is actually the synonym of precise degree of. Write it down. Key level of and precise degree of detail. Now go back and look for a word for detail. Detail.
Interpretation.
Find a word for detail. But they said, okay, let's go on and to please the brain. So many artists use a key level of detail to please the brain. Key level of detail. Option B, complexity. Now why option B? When they say, and her results suggest that many artists use a key level of detail to please the brain. Key level of detail means so much detail, and that causes complexity, right? So the answer is key level of detail, that is complex. And by the way, okay, let's assume complexity is not the answer. For key level of detail, you cannot say interpretation, you cannot say movements, you cannot say concern, you cannot say skill, you cannot say images, emotions already used, you cannot say even layout. So complexity will be the answer. Actually you're going to write there option B. B will be the answer. Now let's go on. And by the way, after the blank, they mentioned which most appeals to the viewer's brain. Next, she also observes that pleasing works of art often contain certain repeated, underline certain repeated. Now please come back, certain repeated. They use the word repeated motifs. Found it? Same paragraph, fourth last line. Yeah, representational show signs of frictional repeated motifs recurring in different scales. Repeated motifs recurring in different scales. Now you should, here in part 3 they will check your vocabulary. You should know another word for motifs.
Layout.
Motifs. Motif is not the layout. Motif is image. You know, the ladies also say I'm using motif on clothing and all that. It's a certain, image and all that. So for question number 33, answer is H, images. Why images? Because the word motif, you can just go on and find the meaning of the word motif. That means image, sketch or image. So image will be the answer for 33. Answer is H. So on your answer sheet, now over here, you cannot actually say this will come first, this will come next. 31 is C, 32 is B, B for boy, and 33 is H. Exactly. H for house. Okay guys, now we've got yes, no, not given. Yes, no, not given means I give you a good tip for that. If the statement agrees with the passage, answer is yes. True kitho aa gaya? And if the statement disagrees with the passage, answer is no. And if sanu nahi pata, tanu bhi nahi pata, then it is not given. These are silly tips. Okay, now let's go on. Let's see what is it that we got to find. Question number 34. The difference between true, false, not given and yes, no, not given is, in true, false, not given, you have to check factual information. Factual information. In yes, no, not given, you have to check writer's view, writer's opinion or writer's claim. And I tell you, it's written there. Please come. Questions 34 to 39. Do the following statements agree with the views of the writer? Underline that. Views of the writer. And please come back. True, false, not given. Come back. Questions 1 to 4. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage? Information given means facts. So for factual information, true, false, not given. And for writer's view or claims, yes, no, not given. Okay, question number 34. Forsyth's finding. Now you know this word already, this person. Forsyth's finding contradicted previous beliefs on the function of fractals in art. Now look here. If Forsyth's finding contradicted means they were opposite. If his findings contradicted previous beliefs, the answer is yes. If Forsyth's findings actually, supported the previous beliefs, then the answer is no. Contradicted means opposite. And supported means actually it's the opposite to that. Then it is no. And if they don't tell us whether Forsyth's finding contradicted previous beliefs or they supported previous beliefs, then the answer is not given. Now please come back to the passage. Look for the word Forsyth. Third last paragraph, and you will find it there. And by the way, the good news is in true, yes, no, not given also questions in the passage, they are in order. Yes. So have you found this word, Forsyth?
Yes, sir.
Third last paragraph. Third last paragraph and fourth line, Forsyth. What's more, now please let's read about him. Kind of perceptual overload according to foresight. What's more, now this is what he's saying. Appealing pieces, both abstract and representational, show signs of fractal, repeated motifs recurring in different scales. Fractals are common throughout nature, for example, in the shapes of mountains, peaks, or the branches of tree. It is possible that our visual system, which evolved, is he saying anything? That foresight's findings contradicted previous beliefs? Not given. Exactly. Right? So, question number 34, answer is? Not given. Yeah, आपको नहीं मिला तब भी not given कर दीजिएगा. Huh? Alright, just joking. Answer is not given. Now, question number 35. Now you will see there are the next two paragraphs. So, 5 answers you will find there. The good thing is, question number 35. Certain ideas regarding the link between mirror neurons, underline mirror neurons, underline certain ideas. Link between mirror neurons and art appreciation. Now, one thing is mirror neurons and second is art appreciation require further verification. Look here. Further verification means further, for verification, they need to investigate further. Right? So, further evidence is required. Now, please come. Second last paragraph. Have you found the word mirror neurons? Fourth line. I'm reading this line. Please follow me. This may be down to our brain's mirror neurons, which are known to mimic others' actions. The hypothesis will need to be thoroughly tested. Future will need to be thoroughly tested. Now, will need to be thoroughly tested means they require further verification. Yes, well done. Require further verification. Now, underline require further verification in the question and in the passage. Need to be thoroughly tested or will need to be thoroughly tested. Right? Question number 35, answer is yes. Question number 36. People's taste in paintings depends entirely on the current artistic trends of the period. People's taste in painting and depends entirely. Now focus the word entirely. Same paragraph, third last line. While the fashions of the time might shape what is currently popular, works that are best adapted to our visual system may be the most likely to linger once the trends of previous generations have been forgotten. People's taste in painting depends entirely on the current artistic. Not entirely, because they mentioned one more thing, may most likely to linger once the trends of previous generations have been forgotten. Still they linger on. Now over here they say entirely. So it's not entirely, it's partially. So what is the answer? No, exactly. Opposite of entirely actually is just like partially. So this word is good for yes, no, not given or true, false, not given. Okay, question number 37. Scientists should seek to define the precise rules. Now underline scientists define precise rules which govern people's reactions to work of arts. So scientists should define the rules which govern people's reaction to work of art. Now please come to last paragraph. Second line. It would, however, be foolish to reduce art appreciation to a set of scientific laws. Set of scientific laws. What does that mean? Precise rules. And he says it would be, however, foolish. And come on, not given. Keda not given Allah, huh? Listen, try to understand. Scientists should seek to define. Now I say you should try to go to Canada. And there I say it is foolish to go to Canada. Right? Now, scientists should seek to define the precise rules, and keep in mind you are checking writers' views. Writers' views or writers' claims. So please read again. Question number 37. Scientists should seek to define precise rules. That's what he's saying, that scientists should define the rules which govern people's reactions to work of art. Now let's read it again. It would, however, be foolish to reduce art appreciation as a set of scientific laws. Set of scientific laws means rules. So, what is the answer? No. Why no? Because in the question he says scientists should do that. In the passage he says it is foolish to do it. That's why. Yeah. Question number 38. Art appreciation should always involve taking into consideration the cultural context. Art appreciation should always involve, underline the word always. This will define whether the answer is yes, no, or not given. So if, for example, what is the opposite of always? Sometimes, occasionally, in certain situations, right? So art appreciation should always involve taking into consideration the cultural context. Please come to this after this foolish one. Yeah. Third line. We shouldn't underestimate the importance of the style. Are you there? Yes. We shouldn't underestimate the importance of the style of a particular artist, their place in history, and the artistic environment of their time. We shouldn't underestimate. What's the question? Art appreciation should always involve taking into consideration, should always involve, and we should not underestimate the importance of style, right, of particular artists, their place in history, and the artistic environment. For that they use the word cultural context in which artist worked. So the answer is yes. Not true, please. If for yes, no, you write true, false, your answer will be wrong. And many students have done this careless mistake. How many questions are there? 6 questions. And how many answers are yes, no? Yes, no, कितने आंसर्स आए अभी तक? हमने अभी तक 38 तक किया है ना? Right? So 4 आए हैं. So if these 4 answers are written true, false, ये 4 के 4 गलत. ठीक है? तो वहां पे एक काम कर लीजिएगा. It's easy. ये जो yes, no, not given है, इसको इनसर्कल कर लीजिएगा. ताकि ज़हन में, या बड़ा सा वहां पे लिख लीजिएगा उस पे yes, no, not given. ठीक है? ताकि समझ में रहे कि इसको यूं ही ऐसे ही लिखना है. Yes, no का प्रॉब्लम है, not given का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Question number 39. It is easier to find meaning in the field of science than in that of art. Easier to find meaning in the field of science than art. Last 2 sentences. In some ways, it's not so different to science. When he says it's not so different to science, where we are constantly looking for systems and decoding meaning so that we can view and appreciate the world in a new way. Yes. Try to understand. In some ways, it's not so different. It's not so different. And he says it is easier to find meaning in the field of science. Easier to find. He says it is not different. When it is not different, it means it's not easier or difficult. So the answer is exactly, not given. Try to understand. I come to it again. Actually, over here they are using comparative. It is easier to find meaning in the field of science than in that of art. They are comparing science and art. Whereas when you come to the passage, no comparison is given. They say in some ways it's not so different to science. What are they talking about? Science. Have they mentioned arts? No. Science, where we can constantly looking for systems and decoding and all that. Have they mentioned arts? No. Have they given any comparison? No. So the answer is? Huh? Good हो गया. आवाज जरा चुप के रखो आवाज. Okay? काका ठहर जा. All right. Now, last question, please. Yeah, इन 2 मास्क लवाए. इन्हों हेलमेट पा के बिठाया कर क्लास चे. Okay. Question number 40, please. Choose the correct letter A, B, C or D. Right? Now, for this question number 40, you will not go anywhere in the passage. You will just use your overall understanding. This type of question number 40, it is called global multiple choice. Try to understand. What is global multiple choice? Global multiple choice is a question that covers all the passage. Global does not mean international. Global means a question that covers all the passage. Now let's see what is the question. What would be the most appropriate subtitle for the article? I give you 30 seconds. Aram se, tasalli se. Then you tell me. For that, you can go back, read the title, keep in mind all the passage, right? Very good. All right. Okay. How many of you say D is the right answer? ठीक हो गया, इसको बाहर निकाल दो, D को. आपको नहीं, आप क्लास में ही बैठे. How many of you say C is the right answer?
No.
Okay. हाथ नीचे कर लें, 40 नंबर आपकी किस्मत में नहीं था. How many of you say B is the right answer? All right, आपका भी गलत हो गया. And how many say A is the right answer? Yeah, मैं तो पहले ही किया सी. A is the right answer. Some scientific insights into how the brain responds to abstract art. Now listen. They have mentioned B, C, D also from the passage. But B, C, D is actually covering a small portion of the passage. Whereas A covers all the passage. Because they use the word, what would be the appropriate subtitle for the article. So B, C, D, other three options, they cannot be the subtitle. They can be the title for a paragraph, but not for all the things. So for question number 40, A, some scientific insights into how brain responds to abstract art, that will be the right answer. Okay.